Hi, today I'm going to talk about bioelectrode therapy, a bit about bioelectronics, and most importantly, electrodes and polarity. Because polarity is key. Polarity is the absolutely essential to understand how energy works in the body. You know, we are electrical creatures. Dr. Robert Becker spoke about this, and in his book called The Body Electric. And I have to say, Dr. Robert Becker was one of the greatest researchers, physicians, and scientists who brought us to where my understanding of electricity in the body and bioelectronics in general. Wherever you're using some kind of devices to generate electricity in the body, it's all based on his wisdom and his research and so on. But anyway, so here we are on the shoulders of giants, and just modifying and improving and making more efficient the use of electrodes. But one of the concepts which is most critical for using bioelectrode therapy and bioelectronics or electrical acupuncture is understanding the placement of your electrodes. Because if you get it wrong, you're going to redirect and reverse the flow of energy and exacerbate conditions. So with an understanding of polarity, which the Chinese have had a good handle on for the past 5,000 years. Bioelectrode therapy combines the Western science of what they call developmental bioelectricity with the ancient wisdom of Chinese medicine, understanding of acupuncture points and meridians. I know they're two very complex and very different sciences, but to get it right, you have to, bioelectrode therapy is getting it right now. If the Western understanding of bioelectricity integrates and understands acupuncture points and the Meridian system, which is the proper flow, energy flow throughout the body, they will get it right. Acupuncture points are just points on the Meridian system of least electrical resistance, and they use acupuncture needles in different forms of stimulation. But all you really truly need is the application of, either copper. There's a good sized electrode right there, and there's a relatively good size. These are what we call dough-foot bottles, and they're filled with pure copper liquid water-based electrodes, and all you need to do is use your dough-foot bottle, and there you are, a perfect electrode. A good size electrode which creates a good size electrical field, electromagnetic field, and that field is what stimulates the cells. Just to give you a little sidebar here, that electrical field flows through the Meridian system, passing through places of pain or toothache here or back pain or whatever, and it stimulates the cell membrane. And what it does, it opens up, that electrical field stimulates the cell membrane, opening up cell membrane, what are called ion-gated channels. And when you do that, you get an immediate release, a balancing of electrolytes and pH, and a stimulation of what's called mitochondria, which is the electrical healing force of the body. It's the electrical force of the body, period. And that's simply done by the electrodes properly placed on the Meridian system, which will heal almost any particular pain anywhere in the body, because that's what the Meridian system is. It's the electrical grid of the body. If you got pain here, there's a meridian system that comes down there. Stomach meridian comes up here and down through the stomach, hence the name, treating stomach problems or anything along that particular meridian. When you combine, for example, silver here on large intestine 1 and a copper on my foot on the stomach 45 next to the big toe, you automatically get an electrical current traveling all the way up your arm, up to here, meeting up with a stomach meridian. That's called a connecting or paired meridian. and again up here and so on down to that toe, and it will clear. These two little critters here will clear anything along those two meridians and subtly affect the other meridians as well, but any impediment along those meridians, and then cleanse and clear any pain and balance those electrolytes, pH, mitochondria stimulates, creating that ATP, which is the electrical healing force of the body. Over time, years as we age and so on, mitochondria get less and less, and so we need to have some form of stimulus. And Dr. Robert Becker, oh, gotta love the guy. He's a giant in the field, and we're only standing on his shoulders, adapting different methods and techniques in clinics and in research departments and so on. And I'm, for myself personally, I'm just trying to refine and develop and enhance a more efficient ways of applying these electrodes, perfecting the electrodes, perfecting the application of electrodes and protocols for almost any imaginable condition. All you need is the electrodes, knowing where to put the electrodes properly on protocols, treating almost anything using Chinese medicine protocols. Whereas your bioelectronic practitioners, again, they're stuck in their laboratories trying to figure out polarity, and they just haven't got it figured out yet. If they would only combine their Western science with Chinese medicine science, 5,000 years of science, they would have the answer. And, they would break out of the laboratories and start to applying it properly, and they wouldn't need their high degrees and years of training and all this complex equipment and laboratories and so on, and they could do it for anybody anywhere with the simple application of these two types of electrodes with the proper understanding. But they don't. They think they know it all. They think with all their education and medical electronic devices to determine pH and so on, they try to make something which is so simple, so complicated. And until they merge the two, they're still going to be shooting in the dark because their polarity is not going to be correct. With the use of acupuncture points in the meridian system, it's automatic. The polarity is automatic. And it will clear and cleanse and repair the cells and the tissues and the organs and so on. It's all here. One of the things that Dr. Robert Becker said before he passed away was, we don't want these electrical devices putting in too much current, because too much current, anything more than 1 volt, will harm. It will cause more damage, injure the tissues and the cells. The beautiful thing about simply using electrodes on the body, we harness and direct the body's own endogenous electrical properties, just giving it adequate stimulus to break through and cleanse and clear those meridians and heal those tissues, those cells. Unfortunately, here in the West, they think more is better. And even practitioners, even lay people who buy this electronic equipment, they think unless you can feel it, it's not doing anything. You can't feel. Well, sometimes you can. You can feel different sensations. You can feel warmth, and you can feel sometimes even with 0.46 volts, which are generated between the silver and the copper, generates the electrons and the ions going in the opposite direction, but necessarily in the directional flow of qi along the meridians. Then you've got it right. You can heal almost anything, at least anything I've seen, with the proper placement of these simple, cheap, easy electrodes. We're going again down the wrong rabbit hole with the use of too much scientific-based electronic equipment and drug therapies and so on. Western medical science believes right now in what's called the brain disease model, and that you're a broken system and that you need pharmaceuticals to correct these conditions. And all you really need is voltage, less than 1 volt, and bingo, you can cleanse and clear and heal those conditions. My particular field is the field of addictions, and right now they're using this brain disease model where they think you're so broken you need to have the medications. You need to have methadone, Suboxone, Sublocade, Acadian, and these other highly addictive. Right now these medications are highly addictive, far more addictive than heroin ever thought to be. Heroin detox and cleansing and clearing takes several days and you're clean and clear. With methadone and these other fentanyl and all these other synthetic opioids, it's, unfortunately, for whatever reason, it could be profiteering or it could be, repeat customers, clientele in your business. They've adopted a model which is self-destructive and creating this opioid crisis. It's well documented. Just go look up OxyContin, for example, and you can see the billions and billions of dollars generated off the blood, sweat, and tears and overdosing of these medications. Simple application, properly applied to the to the Jing-Well points in the body, you will have instant relief of opioid withdrawal, not only the acute, but the post-acute withdrawal, plus the contributing pain that got you on those drugs to begin with. You can learn how to treat those complex pain issues as well. But it's all based on polarity and understanding polarity in the body. And until these researchers get it right, because, unfortunately, they don't think they've got much to learn from an old science like Chinese medicine. It's a bit of arrogance, and, they think they know it all, I guess, because they're not. I've tried contacting politicians and addiction directors and managers. They're not interested. They seem to be satisfied with the status quo. We've got an opioid crisis which is killing 100,000 people a year in the States alone, just with the opioids, causing over $2.5 billion, trillion dollars, pardon me, billions, nothing. $2.5 trillion spent on the opioid crisis in the U.S. alone. And yet, let's face it, it's a business model. This costs almost nothing. Try it. You just might like it, and you just might get free from the slavery of drug therapies. But anyway, that's enough for today. That's a wrap. I wish you goodwill and good health, and stay curious. Stay experimental. Thank you.